So, good morning, everyone. Welcome at ALIFE 2021 conference on artificial life. Originally, it was scheduled for the conference in Prague, but it is not possible to host you here this year. So the ALIFE 21 conference will be fully online conference. Now we have the opening session, and it is scheduled for 1 hour. And the plan is as follows. So first, I will briefly show which platforms we will use for the ALIFE 21 conference. It means a web page, then Google Calendar, Slack, Zoom, and other platforms for coffee breaks and so on. Then we will have few words from the rector of University of Chemistry and Technology, Prague, Pavel Matějka. He will introduce our university, although the conference is online. And then Susan Stepney will introduce ISAL, International Society for Artificial Life, and Alan Dorin will introduce journal Artificial Life. And then I will introduce the keynote speaker, Jana Horáková, and after that we will have her talk for 1 hour, and it will be related to RUR, because RUR is the play where the board robot was used for the first time, and it was invented by Karel Čapek. And Jana will summarize this in her talk something about the history of this play and robots and so on. So I will share my screen, and I will show a briefly what we are using for this conference. So first thing is that all the important information you can find on the web page of the conference. I think everyone has the access there, because this, what I'm showing now, is public. And then all of you have got the email from us with the password to the page virtual and program. If not, please send us an email, and I will send you the password to have the access there. So this is the password protected page. I already entered the password, that's why I open it automatically. And here you have the most important things related to the conference. This page is accessible only for registered participants, so please don't share the password with other people. And the important part is the program page, where you can find the full program, and you can click on individual Zoom links to enter the virtual lecture halls at our ALIFE 21 conference. So the web is the most important thing for this conference, and other important thing is Slack and Google Calendar. So each of you has already the access to Slack. It was used already last year, so I believe that all of you are familiar with this platform. And each of you, when entered the Slack, was automatically added to the channels General and Introductions and Logistics. And if you can see that here I have plenty of channels, and you can also add what you are interested in. So here simply you can find channels, click here, add channels, browse channels, and then you can add what you are interested in. Because I am in all of them, then I cannot show. Maybe here I have seen, I am not the student essay competition channel, so I can join yeah, everyone can join each channel. Who is the full conference participant has the access to the full Slack, and some people are just the guests on some workshops, so they have the limited access just to the channels related to workshops or summer school. So here you can simply add your channels, and the most important for this conference are ALIFE art. It is related to art competition that we have here. Then we have several conference awards, and you can vote also here in Slack. We will give the awards in you can contribute to the 4 conference awards. So you can choose the best paper, you can choose the best talk of the conference, you can choose the best artwork, and the best student essay. And this is what you as the participant can vote for. So this is accessible all the week, and we will stop it on Friday, and then we will announce the winners in the closing ceremony. Another important channel is general, where you can find the most important thing related not only to this conference, but to artificial life and the community of ALIFers. I use very often the word ALIFer, so you can check this channel. Introductions. Some of you already introduced yourself, so please write a paragraph about yourself, introduce yourself, share the link to your webpage, invite people to your talk, or it's up to you. Share the photo, because it's always nice to see that it's online conference, but on the other side there are normal human beings, so it's good to see also the photos of you and share it with the others. Yesterday we had the ISAL summer school, so here's also the channel for it. Here is the dedicated channel to Keynote, so you can ask the questions to Keynotes there, and they can answer it later. Because, for example, if you are watching the recorded talk and still you have some questions, so you can write it here, and the speaker can answer it here later. Then we have here also other channels. The important thing is logistics, where we share the important things related to the conference. And if you have some question related to it, so you can also ask here. Yeah, so one more important thing is that we have a Twitter account where you can follow us, and automatically the tweets and retweets of related to the conference are here in Slack, but you can just see them, for example, in the case that you don't use Twitter. Otherwise, if you want to react, you must go to Twitter, and then you can see what we have there, and you can write and retweet. Please use the hashtag ALIFE21 in your talks, and mention ALIFeConf, which is the account for all ALIFE conferences. But this year we have this header and this logo because this year it's related to ALIFE21. But it is the same Twitter account as we used last year for 2020 and so on. And related to social media, we have not only Twitter, we have also Facebook. So who prefers to join us? We have the Facebook ALIFE 2021. So you can follow us. Yeah, this is our doc, which we have in here, future guide doc, Jin. Okay, so social media and Slack I have introduced. And maybe briefly, I will explain you how to use the Google Calendar, which is very useful for you to make things simple. So all of you have got this email with the invitation to add the calendar to your own calendar. So after clicking to this, you had the option to add the calendar to your calendar, and then you have ALIFE 21 program directly in your calendar. So you can see something like this after adding of the calendar, but just in the case that you are using the same Gmail account as you provided when you registered. So in the case that, for example, your registration was with your university email, but as the calendar you are using your Gmail, please contact me. I can add your second email address to the calendar. And it is very easy to use, because when you have it, then you can see the program. For example, here, I don't see the program because now I am logged with this account and I don't have permission. But this, my other Gmail account has the permission, and then I can see the whole program. Now we see that we are in the opening session, and you can see the program. You can click on each part in the program. You can directly click on Zoom and to go to the meeting room. You can click on this, and then you can go directly, not directly, but one more click to the web of the individual workshop. And as you can see, you cannot edit this, but you can add this to your own calendar. And then you can even edit the event, and you can make the notes, and you can create your own, you can create your own calendar where you will have only the talks which you are interested in. So now I see the pink conference calendar, but if I will show just my plan, so my plan is to go to this workshop. So this is a very useful thing to use the calendar, but the even better thing is to add this Google Calendar as the application to Slack, because then you will have all things in one place. So I added the Google Calendar application to Slack, and here I have calendar, and we can see that I have the full program for today here, and I can click on the talk, and I can go directly to the calendar. But better thing is to be in this home regime, where you have a program like this, and then you can, clicking on this, view the event details, like when is it, what is it. It is in Blue Lecture Hall, and you can click to Zoom from here or from here. So I think the program is very friendly to everyone. So you have several options to join the presentations. You can go either from Slack, from the calendar, from the program page, from the Google Calendar. So it's up to you. In the case of any troubles, please contact us, and we will try to help you and solve it. So this is related to Slack, and I will show a few more things related to our coffee breaks. Because we are running from, let's say, 7 to 10 the whole day, but then we have night in Europe, but on the other side of the world, people are still awake and they want to chat and discuss something related to the conference or other things, some informal talks with the others. So we have opened 2 options for the virtual pubs and cafeterias. So we use Remo as the platform. We will have the coffee sessions. They are already scheduled for 5 hours, and after that new one is set. It's just the protection that the people will sit all the day in the cafeteria. So time to time we will switch it off, and then new one will start. So when you click on the links which are available in Slack in the channel social. In the channel social, we have a coffee room, and there you can see the links to Remo. And clicking on this, you are going directly to Remo. Remo is one platform, and clicking on that link, you will see something like this. Then you click on join event, and you will see something like this. It's virtual cafeteria where you can sit at table. For example, here I'm automatically at table 1, and then by double click you can move in the space and choose another table. So after that, you can switch on camera and microphone, and you can have the chat with a small group of people sitting next to this table. If you think that the discussion there is too boring, or you want to move somewhere else, you say just bye, and with double click move to another table. So it is very user friendly, and I hope to meet with you there as well, and to have some informal chat, or the chat related to the conference or other things. It is possible also to share the screen, and we as the organizers can present something, but we will use this platform just for coffee break, so no presentations will be in this remote room. The second option is the non-stop pub, which is called, this is still Coffee Room Helena, but it is called Pub Alquist. And it is a non-stop platform where you can add what you want. You can add pictures, you can have the chat with the others if they are close to you. It is really big space. So here you can see the map, and people close to you can see you and hear you. And if you move far away from them, then they don't see you, they don't hear you. So you can form small groups in this huge space, and this platform is called here. So this is everything which is related to the conference, how to use these platforms. And maybe now I can ask our rector of University of Chemistry and Technology in Prague, Pavel Matějka. He will tell you a few words about our university and hosting of our ALIFE 21 conference here. So please, Pavel, you can open this conference officially. Thanks.
Jitka, can I ask you, can I share my screen? Is it possible?
Sure, I think you are allowed. Or if not, I will check it. I expect.
Not, you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
Yeah, I must stop my. I'm sorry. Yeah, now you can. Sorry.
No problem. So I try to show it. So, do you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning, afternoon. What was your time zone just now? Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to this conference organized by Jitka Čejková from the University of Chemistry and Technology, Prague. And I would like to introduce you shortly our campus, our university. So what you see here on the picture are the main buildings of our university, and you see that there is Prague Castle on the picture, just the Cathedral of Prague. So we are quite close to Prague Castle, what about 15 minutes walking. So really, if you can come to Prague in person, welcome in Prague-Davice, and I hope that we can then meet together in person. So very shortly, our university is a small university of technology, mainly based on chemistry, material science, just food science, some biodisciplines, cybernetics, and also environmental sciences and technology. So there are 4 faculties: Faculty of Chemical Technology, Environmental Technology, Food and Biochemical Technology, and Chemical Engineering. Where is Jitka from? The names are somewhat traditional, so if you see finally the disciplines on individual faculties is much broader, that it can be viewed from the names of the faculties. As we are University of Technology, we established in 2015 a Technopark institution for specific cooperation with industry, both in the Czech Republic and international. So it's somewhat new part of our university, about 20 kilometers from Prague. I would like to comment somewhat about our university viewed from ranking. For last 3 years, we are in the QS World University ranking somewhere close to the position 350, sometimes 340, in the last year 373. In fact, this position, I guess, is not bad. Of course, it can be better, but from the point of view of the Czech Republic, we are at the 2nd place, following Charles University, the biggest, the oldest, in fact, the most traditional university of our country, and of course, just based in Prague. I would like to comment that much more than QS ranking or THE ranking, I like multi-rank with what about 20, more than 20 criteria where the universities are assessed. And from this point of view, in 11 criteria, we obtained the highest rating here, the A. And really, what's important for us is also cooperation with industry, and from this point of view, we are pretty high position. Okay, somewhat related to papers. If you see it here, some few comparison with the orange line of our university of about top 10 citation percentile. Of course, my favorite university in Europe is KU Leuven. It's, of course, higher than our university, but now we are somewhat closer to them. And in the comparison, we are here somewhere close, for example, to the Vienna University of Technology, also somewhat traditional University of Technology in Central Europe, relatively close in Prague to Charles University here, and somewhat above the Czech Technical University in Prague. Okay, I would like to mention somewhat about robots and chemical robots, nanorobots at our university. Because as I see somewhat this ALIFE conference is related from the point of view of Jitka, also from the robots. The word was introduced by Czech writer Karel Čapek. So the first ERC grant at our university, and in fact the first ERC grant in the Czech Republic, was named Chemical Processing by Swarm Robotics. It just established a laboratory called Chobotics, Chemical Robotics, and it was just focused on the design and synthesis of chemical swarm robots, so-called cobots. So just inspired by the behavior of collective organism. The laboratory and the project, the principal investigator of the project, and nowadays the head of the laboratory of Chobotics is Professor Štěpánek from the Faculty of Chemical Engineering, very closely related to Jitka research career, in fact. The running project at our university nowadays on the Faculty of Chemical Technology, so at another faculty, is called Advanced Functional Nanorobots. It started in 2016 and should be finished in the next year, and it's based on the research work of the group of Professor Pumera related to various functional nanorobots with the cooperation around the world from US, Japan, Europe, Germany, UK, of course, Singapore or China. So quite big project related to functional systems on the nanoscale. Of course, we are strongly involved in European projects, mainly as participants, but in somewhat 18% as the coordinator of this project. You can see here some examples related to different fields like environmental issues or material development, of course, the treatment of water or medical application in cancer therapies. Just if you see somewhat the keywords used in the EU projects at our university, you can see here environment, as I mentioned, food safety, sustainability, and specifically at the same frequency, more or less, also physical chemistry as somewhat fundamental discipline, very important to many fields of chemistry and of course to many applications. So that's somewhat what I have to comment, because I graduated as physical chemist, so that's my specific field of interest. Okay, if you see our papers, about 1/3 are our local, national, the same part, and international, the last 1/3. And here are somewhat the number of cooperating institutions around the world, of course, mainly in Europe, but of course, a lot of in North America, in Southeast Asia, and somewhat small numbers in South America or Africa. Of course, we are university institution related to the chemical tradition of Emil Wotocek, and we are very strongly connecting just education with research, and that's somewhat common. Even at the bachelor level, practically every bachelor thesis are based on the research of students. So really we try to educate the young people through research. The three main pillars of our university are related to health and safety, energy efficiency, and materials and specialty chemicals. I would like to introduce somewhat more another project somewhat related to our applied research, and specifically to the group of František Štěpánek from the Department of Chemical Engineering related to Pharmaceutical Applied Research Center, which is somewhat just the joint project of our university, Charles University, and the Institute of Organic Chemistry and Biochemistry, just probably quite famous place in Prague from the point of view of development of antivirotics by Antonín Holý. And the industrial partner in the pharmacy is mainly Zentiva. So that's somewhat the park is the place where our or part of our PhD candidates of the university and on other universities are really trained in very close connection with a pharmaceutical company. Just very briefly, the open science strategy, just nowadays very important in Europe, is something which inspired us, and we try to work somewhat on this benefits based on this open science strategy. In few words, I would like to comment on the book that was created under just the supervision or editoring of Jitka Čejková. In the Czech language, it's a robot sto rozumu. It means, in fact, just a book, some inspired by the Rossum's universal robots, as the robots just somewhat used in the Čapek's play everywhere. And in fact, this is just the starting point of the word robot that I mentioned in the beginning, the nanorobots, chemical robots at our university. And what's important, these Rossum's robots in the in fact established by Čapek were not some metal monsters, but really made of somewhat chemical prepared matter, somewhat soft and very strongly inspired by the organic matters by nature. And I guess this somewhat the ALIFE, and it's I guess strongly related even to the research and ideas which will be further commented or discussed, debated at this conference. I really appreciate that this book was just somewhat designed by Jitka, that she introduced a lot of persons around the world just to read the book of Čapek and just to write some essays, somewhat comments, some new ideas related to robots, or more or less related to somewhat artificial life or something mimicking the life. So I guess really the book is inspiring. It's inspiring for me, and I use this book as a gift for the guests of our university. Of course, the Czech because it's in the Czech language, but really, I guess it's inspiring, and I hope that the book will be translated or completed the English version, that the community around the world can read the contributions of this about the 100 contributions related to the robots and to the artificial life. So that's a comment to this topic, and really from this point of view, I guess that Jitka is the best person at our university that can organize such a nice conference. Of course, from my point of view, it will be really nice if I can see you in person at UCT Prague. I hope that it will be possible in the next years. So probably even the conference events is rotating around the world, can be once more in Prague, and we can see personally. So I wish you pleasant days. I wish you a nice conference, inspiring you for further research work, and I hope that even some of the contributions I can follow. Even I'm quite busy in this summer period. So thank you for attention, and really nice. I would like to wish you a nice conference, and many thanks to Jitka and the team around her to organize such a meeting.
Well, thank you for the introduction of our University of Chemistry and Technology, and thank you for the introduction of the book. Actually, my plan was not to speak too much about the book here, but you said a lot of things, so thank you. I wanted to show just this slide related to the conference, to the book. Where is the presentation? Am I sharing the screen?
I stopped sharing, so I guess you can share it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now back. So yeah, so the book contains original Čapek's work Arivar, and then 100 views of 100 personalities on display. And you can see 100 faces, and I think many of them are familiar for you because half of the contributors are ALIFers, people from the artificial life community, and I would like to thank them for contribution to this book. Actually, like third of them are the participants of this conference. And this is in Czech, but we hope to publish this next year at MIT Press in the English version. And if we take a look on these faces, we can find somewhere Susan Stephanie. And I would like to ask her now to introduce International Society for Artificial Life, because she is the vice president of it. We are sorry that because of time zones, we are not able to invite here at this moment Charles Orphea. He's sleeping, but he will see the recordings later. So please, Susan, start to talk about ISAL, and also Susan has the idea about the next year conferences. And as Pavel has shown, it would be nice to host you in person in Prague, but not this year, not next year, we will see, but in the future. So Susan, please.
Yes, I need to share my screen, so if you could stop sharing yours.
Yeah, I stopped. Yeah.
Okay. So are you seeing the shared screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Jitka, for the introduction. And as she said, Charles sends his apologies. He's asleep, but you will see him later on in the conference. So welcome everybody to ALIFE 2021. And I'm speaking on behalf of the International Society for Artificial Life, which organizes who organizes the conferences. So Jitka's done the organization this year, and the society does many things, one of which is making sure that there is someone to organize each year's conference. So who is the society at the moment? This is just a list of the various board members. You'll recognize many of these names, including Jitka's there as the current chair. Charles Orphea is the president, and then there are a variety of other people who play different roles within the society, helping to, on the conference side, but also on the journal, a variety of awards, outreach, education, and so on. There are a variety of names on the left there, highlighted in red, and those are the people whose terms of office come to an end this year, and hopefully many of you will have seen a call for nominations for officers, and there will be elections this year to replace those particular people, so that the board is continually being refreshed in its membership. So please, if you're a member of ISAL, you can vote in these elections. And in fact, as a member of ISAL, there are many benefits. I'm going into my sales pitch here. If you're a member, you have more say in what the society does. You get a discount for the conference. You get a free subscription to the Artificial Life Journal, and you're helping to keep the journal open for publication, that there are no page charges. You get to vote in the awards and a variety of other things. And also as a member, you can say what it is you would like the society to do, and you can even stand for the board if you wish to. And in fact, if you want to help, there are a variety of ways of getting involved. We have a website that you can go and visit and see more about the society. There's a variety of social media options to use, and if you're interested in helping on any of those things, you can contact Emily Dawson, who is the current board member in charge of these items. And if you want to help on any other activities, just drop Charles an email and he'll be delighted that you want to help. You can also stay in touch through a variety of routes. There's an email group that you can use to announce a variety of things and to see a variety of things. These are from conferences, possibly job offers, and it's not just the ALIFE conference that gets announced here. Lots of other workshops and interesting things are announced. There are a variety of Twitter addresses there that you can use, and as well as the Slack that we have for the conference here, there is also a specific Slack channel on the ISAL channel itself. So as Jitka suggested, one of the things that we do in these sessions here is to advertise where next year's ALIFE conference will be. So drum roll, please. Well, we haven't actually decided yet. And the reason for that, you will no doubt recognise, is that the world is in a very strange state at the moment. And it's not at all clear if things will be back to normal, even by next summer. In fact, it's not at all clear that things will get back to exactly the way they were ever. The level of restrictions may vary. It might be back to normal. It might be back into a lockdown. It might be that you can travel locally, but not globally or whatever. And rather than try and say we will have an ordinary conference and then maybe have to turn it into an online conference, we decided we could use this as an opportunity to rethink how we run ALIFE conferences completely. And that's not only because of COVID. It's an opportunity potentially to reduce the carbon footprint of travel. And in fact, ALIFE 2019, before COVID, introduced a hybrid mode. And also it helps allow the inclusion of those who can't travel. So let's rethink what we might be doing for the conference. So here's the traditional model that we all know and love from pre-COVID. There's a big bucket of people assemble in one place somewhere on the globe. We all fly in into the bucket at the beginning of the week, and then we all fly out at the end of the week. And maybe some of us who are a bit more local can travel through different modes, but there's an awful lot of flying. We all come together in a single location. This has downsides. It's very expensive for people who have to fly and then stay in a hotel for a week, and in addition to the conference fee. And it does have a huge carbon footprint, let's face it. However, it does have a lot of pros. We do love these conferences. They're interactive. We have great conversations. It's where networking happens. It's where we learn new ideas. It's where we have to, the deep conversations with people. We discover things from the talks. We discover things from the coffee breaks. It's very immersive. You're fully there. It's much harder to sit doing your emails or being pulled into meetings at your place of work. You're actually there. And let's face it, it's great fun. They're very enjoyable events. Now we have the pandemic model, kind of at the other end of the spectrum. We saw this last year in Montreal, where things had to happen very quickly. And then this year in Prague, where there was a longer chance to organize a virtual conference, even though Jitka was right at the beginning, very much hoping it could be in person. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So this model is the virtual attendance model, and it does have some pros. It's a lot cheaper, and we have noticed that we've had more registrations in these 2 years than we've had previously. People only have to pay the conference fee. They don't have to pay travel and hotels and so on. And it has a better carbon footprint. probably. I'm not actually sure what hundreds of people on Zoom simultaneously, what the electricity footprint of that is, but it must be better than all this flying around between continents. But of course, it does have its downsides. It is less interactive, even with the great coffee breakout rooms. There's a lot less interaction, a lot less of those casual chats that suddenly turn into potential new collaborations. It's less immersive and it is less fun. Although we still learn lots of great stuff, it's definitely not the same experience as being there in person. But those are two ends of the spectrum. So one of the things we've been wondering about is maybe we should have a different model that lies between these two models and hopefully might be the best of both worlds. Of course, with good organization, that is, if we need to make sure it's organized that way and not become the worst of both worlds. But this is an idea. This is an idea for discussion, a distributed conference. So maybe we have local travel to a few hub sites. So rather than one big bucket, we have a few smaller buckets that are local, maybe one or two per continent, say, and local travel to there. And then maybe also, in addition, a virtual attendance option. So this has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is we get in-person interactions again. It may be somewhat cheaper because the travel is more local. It might have an intermediate carbon footprint. I know it's incredibly difficult to calculate actual carbon footprints, but maybe that would work. And so we would have that interactivity. And then we would continue to have global interactivity virtually through all the mechanisms that we've learnt over the past couple of years. And in addition, there would be a full virtual attendance option so we can increase inclusion from those people who either cannot or choose not to travel at all. So this is what we're discussing at the moment. And one thing is potentially to have a new organizational structure. Here we would have a general chair for each year's conference, and the general chair would be the one with the overall vision of how the conference should be and the theme of the conference, and would organize the entire conference, but through extreme delegation. They wouldn't do quite as much work as people do currently when they're organizing conferences, because they would delegate. And at the moment, we're thinking that the delegation would go via maybe a program chair who would have their program committee. Then there'd be some registration chair handling the financial side, and they could tap into ISAL financial organization facilities. Then there'd be a tech chair who would organize the virtual aspects, the Zoom, the breakout rooms, and so on, and they can have their tech minions. And then each site, each of the small local buckets could have a local site chair doing the local organization of that we might remember from back pre-COVID, which includes things like making sure there are rooms and food and so on. And then there might be some others. Now this model then would allow potentially to have some continuity, organizational learning, that some of these chairs could rotate more slowly than on an annual basis. So you might have a, say, a registration chair who does this for a few years and then rotates out to a new chair and so on. And also the tech chair can teach the incoming tech chair about how things actually work. I know there was a lot of transfer of knowledge from the 2020 conference to the 2021 conference on the tech side, for example, but we could formalize this maybe a little bit more. So there'd be less potential for reinventing the wheel, which often happens when you have individual conferences each year. And then the local site chairs, then that could be lighter weight local organization, because it would be a smaller event and it would be more like organizing a workshop level of size rather than a whole international conference level of size. And with this, we can distribute the work more. And so the load doesn't just fall on a small number of people. The general chair doesn't have to do everything, and the local site chairs can have their own way of working, for example. And as well as meaning that we can distribute the work to reduce the burden on some people, it also means more people can potentially be involved in the society. So that's our idea, but you as members of the conference, we want your input from this. There might be better ideas. This idea could be refined. It could be shown to be unworkable, or it could be everyone says, yes, that's exactly what we want to do. So we've got a Slack channel. It's called Future ALIFE Conference. And what we want you to do is to discuss this idea, to discuss other ideas, to come up with the advantages of them, any problems that we haven't noticed, any modifications, and so on. And we'll be monitoring the channel and contributing as well. And we'll summarize and maybe feedback on Friday what people think. And then we'll use this to design and organize ALIFE 2022. So we're also looking for volunteers. We want people to be involved. You might want to volunteer to be a local site chair. So in fact, the conference may come back in a small way to Prague again. Maybe Prague volunteers to be the Europe site chair. Well, there could be more than one site in Europe, obviously, but we want a few places where we can get a reasonable number of people together. Maybe you want to volunteer to be one of the specialist chairs. Maybe you're a real techie and want to be the tech chair. Maybe you're feeling managerial and want to be the general chair. Maybe you have a vision for what ALIFE 2022 should be, and you're an excellent delegator and would like to be the general chair, whatever. So that's just a summary. Again, welcome to ALIFE 2021, but we're already thinking about ALIFE 2022, so please get involved.
Thank you, Susan. And maybe because time is running, I would like to ask Alan Dorin to introduce Artificial Life journal. Yeah, so you can start and you will say everything. Yeah, please.
Thanks, Yitka. Thanks, Susan. So I'd just like to welcome you also to the conference, and just to talk briefly about Artificial Life, which is the official journal of the International Society for Artificial Life. And it's been going since 1993. So we've got 27 and a bit years of history there. Just a few things about the journal. So one, you can note in the top corner there is the Twitter address. So feel free to tweet out your comments to the journal and follow us on Twitter. There's the website there, which is at MIT Press as well. So it would be remiss of me not to first thank Mark Beddoe, who has been editor-in-chief of the journal for over 20 years. And he is retiring at the moment and has actually handed over editorship to myself and Susan, whom you just met online now. Obviously, an immense thank you is due to him for so much effort. And of course, everyone in the Artificial Life community who's published there or who's read papers published in the journal has every reason to be thankful for the work that he put into making the journal the success that it is, and the important part of our research community that it is. So as I said, Susan and I have taken over as co-editors-in-chief. We also have with us an editorial assistant, Lynn, who's based at Reed College, where Mark is based as well. So now we've got a truly international team managing the journal, one in the UK, one in Australia, and one in USA. Which does certainly make our Zoom meetings quite difficult to schedule for the time zones, but it adds an international flavour to the journal as well. On top of our contributions, we've got associate editors from all over the world. Many of these people you'll recognise as being long-time members of the Artificial Life community. Many of them are involved in the conferences, including this one. They'll be publishing their articles in the journal and in the conference, and organising workshops and so on. So if you see them, have a shout out, and you can talk to them about the journal as well. The scope of the journal is as broad as the field of artificial life. There are 2 pages of scope here. One, you can see just a list of topics under artificial organisms and artificial ecosystems and society. And we're interested in all of this in publishing it. And if you actually have new topics that are not listed on this page or on this second page, we'd be happy to hear from you too if you think that they should be part of the journal. So feel free to pitch your ideas to us, and the scope then of the journal becomes up to you, basically, to define through discussions amongst yourselves and your collaborators and Susan and I as editors of the journal. So don't feel limited by the many things already listed here on the 2 pages. If you've got other work that you think really should be part of artificial life, then let us know your ideas. We'd be happy to hear them. On journal article types, there's a range of possibilities for you. So there's the kind of conventional articles you can see, which is sort of 6,000 to 12,000 words. That's just your standard research article. If you've got something much briefer than that, though, you can present that to us as well for potential publication as a letter or a short communication. We've also relatively recently introduced fast track articles. So the idea here is that they're short communications that for various reasons you might want to be published quite quickly. For instance, they might be relevant to current events or some research that you think is moving particularly quickly, and you want to put your own kind of stamp in time without going through extremely time-consuming and lengthy review processes. So these are still peer-reviewed fully, okay, but we'll attempt to fast-track those articles. So what might have been a month or 3 or 4, even in some cases, before you get your reviews back, we'll try to turn around in a few weeks to try and accelerate the review process. We're also open to reviews and reports. So review articles typically cover an area or a subdomain, and they may investigate a range of the literature in that area and try and provide some kind of update on the current state of the art in that sub-discipline. And a report is usually a short communication or a summary of an event like this one. So maybe you'd like to write your own report on the conference. Wait till the end of the conference, please. Don't send us that before it started. It's probably also helpful for you to know that it's an open access journal if you like. We publish special issues and we welcome topics from you. So please do submit special issue suggestions to us. And finally, I'd just like to point out that all those who publish in the Artificial Life Journal during a year are entitled to a speaking slot at the following year's ALIFE conference, including this conference. So I encourage you to look out for those. You can tell by the banner they put up on their title slide, which will reflect the fact that the publication comes from the journal. If you spot those, tweet them at the Artificial Life Journal and you'll get a shout out from the journal Twitter feed. Okay, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Alan, for introducing the Artificial Life Journal. And our opening session is now over, and we should start with the keynote, which is Jana Horáková. Because before I introduce her, I would like to summarize a few important things related to this conference. Again, I would like to say hi to everyone who decided to join our ALIFE 21 conference on artificial life. At the beginning of this opening session, I have shown several things, how to use Slack, how to connect it with Google Calendar, where you can find the most important things, and links to YouTube are available on the web, so you can see the pre-recorded talks, and also all talks here will be recorded, and we will share them with the other participants of the conference. We have almost 400 participants, and many of them are students. We have got plenty of student scholarships. Students had the chance to get to the free tickets because of participation in essay competition, in art competition, or because they are the speakers at this conference. So dear students, welcome and enjoy this conference. Artificial Life community is like a huge family, so don't be shy, talk to professors, talk to young colleagues, so enjoy this conference. As I said, we have several coffee rooms and pubs, so you can join there and talk to the others. As I said, all talks will be recorded, so in the case that you don't want to be recorded, don't switch on your camera and don't use the microphone, use just the chat for asking you questions. All talks will be either in meeting mode or webinar mode. Now we will have the keynote, which is in this webinar mode. So it means that nobody from the participants can switch on the camera and speak. So in the case that you really need to say something, just raise your hand and then we can unmute you. But we prefer to use chat. During the talk, you can use Q&A panel, and you can send the question directly to us by using Q&A option. And yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, and maybe just the comment to time zone. Some people were complaining that there are not too long breaks for lunch. I'm sorry. The participants are from around the world, and everyone will miss something. So people from the East, they will miss the evening sessions because it's too late for them. People from the West, they will miss the morning sessions because it is too early for them. So the people from Europe, they will miss some parts of the middle of the day because they need to go for lunch. So sorry for that. So I hope that everyone will find everything later on YouTube, and still if you have questions, you can use Slack. I don't want to talk too much. Just if you have questions, contact us and we will solve it individually.